Hi everyone, Teresa Aker here, and you're watching Success Diaries. It's my privilege today to bring you Dawson. How you doing, Dawson?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody.
That's great. Now, Dawson McManus, I'm just going to quickly read here, is a musician, podcast host, teacher, and producer. So we're going to talk all about you today, Dawson. So let's get started, shall we?
Sure.
Now, I had the pleasure of meeting a few of your group members. So you're going to be at a show coming up. Let's talk about that show first.
Sure. Yes. January 24th at the Rock Pile. I'm playing with Supernauts, which is a Black Sabbath tribute. And we are the middle act in between Ian K and Destroyer Canada. Ian K is original material, and Destroyer Canada is the top Kiss tribute in the country. So pretty cool to get to play with those guys.
I would think so. Well done. You deserve it. Well
Oh, thank
done. Yeah. And that's up at, so are you playing on that? Tell us again.
That's the Rock Pile in Toronto. I believe it's I wanted to say Dundas, but that might be wrong. I'll have to double check the address.
I'll get that in the show notes for you, Dotson. No problem.
Cool. Thanks.
That one's on me. That's my job.
Okay.
So let's talk about you, Dawson. What do you do? I know you're a musician. What do you do?
My primary instrument is bass guitar, and that is what I studied in college, but I also play guitar, I play piano a little bit. I play harmonica, I sing, I write, I do some production work, and I am starting to get into sound engineering, which is a whole other ball of wax. It's quite involved and it's an intricate science, and it's very fascinating. And I'm really excited to start this work. I'm going to be doing some stuff in association with the Danforth Creative Commons, which is on the Danforth, and they are a phenomenal facility, and they're run by very cool people. And the sound engineer that I am studying under is actually Ilana Hart, who is the leader of the Sling Sisters.
Oh, of course.
So,
Okay.
yeah, who I've played on, I think it was four of the songs on their album. They've been releasing singles, and phenomenal band. And Ilana is, I don't really use this term very often, but I think it's quite possible that she's a genius.
Oh,
It's
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to get to hang out with her as regularly as I do. She and I are also in the Bowie Lives Together with that is fronted by Michael Bell, and that's a David Bowie tribute, which is how Ilana and I met, was through David Bowie music. She has her own David Bowie tribute as well called "I Will Be King." That's how I met her. Was playing did a substitute night for them, and she and I hit it off right away. And yeah, it's just super hip lady, and I'm very fortunate to know her.
I knew she was part of that. We've had the privilege of having Michael Bell on a couple of times on my show.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Great singers. Wonderful, wonderful show. And congratulations for being part of that. Now,
Oh, thank you.
absolutely. Now, I know you talked about some of your singles that you have out and some of your works. Let's go and talk about that because we want the people here. Is it on Spotify? Tell us all about where they can
Sure.
get it, what you've got out there.
For my original music, the stuff that I've written, it's just under Dawson McManus, and you can find it on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, like basically anywhere that you stream music.
Sure.
You can go listen to, I think I've got 5 singles out. 4 of them are like full rock tunes, and one of them is an instrumental for them, like 99% instrumental that I use as the theme song for my podcast, which is 646 with Dawson McManus.
Six
For
four. Can
the
I interrupt you there for a second, Dawson? It's 646
with Dawson McManus.
with Dawson McManus. Okay, so I want to make sure we also have that in the show notes for you.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I know
Yeah.
your podcast. Absolutely.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So that's good. So, but I wanted to hear it for the viewers, and then we'll have it up here on the show notes for you.
Very cool. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I just love being a musician. It's the only thing I know how to do. So I'm stubborn enough to have turned it into how I make my living.
Wow, good for you. Not a lot of people could say that, Dawson. Congratulations.
Thanks. It is a lot of tireless work, and it's not always just the playing, which I wish it was. I wish it was that easy where I shouldn't say easy, but I wish it was that much fun where it was nothing but practice and performance, but that's not really the case, especially not anymore. You have to, if you want to be a professional musician, you have to not only be a musician, but you have to be somewhat a producer, you have to be a content creator. So which means you have to be a videographer, which means you have to be sometimes a script writer, which means you have to be a video editor, which means you have to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, ad nauseum. And it is taxing, especially when you've got a family that also needs attention, right? So it's a tough thing to juggle and a tough thing to balance that is not always balanced properly, unfortunately.
And now you're going to do sound engineering, which is exciting. So you're going to have even more you're going to do.
Yep, that's the plan. I kind of want to be the Swiss Army knife. I really like all the instruments. I love playing guitar and bass, and I love singing and all the other instruments that I've already listed. I really enjoy doing all that stuff, but it's also really fascinating to me how it fits together sonically and with all recording mediums, but specifically with digital. You really have to carve out space for each sound. Like different instruments operate within a different
Right.
resonant spectrum, right? And it's measured in hertz. And depending on how low a vibration is, it's a low hertz, and how fast, which would give you a deep pitch, and how fast the vibration is a high hertz, which is high pitch. Like the top end of a piano would be high hertz, like cymbals, which
Oh,
would be
sure.
actually probably above that. And then bass guitar would be a lower resonant. Same with kick drum or whatever. So you have to figure out how to, it's almost like building your own jigsaw puzzle out of the pieces that are outlined by the instrument, and then you have to actually cut it out so that they all fit together so that nobody's stepping on each other's toes, metaphorically speaking.
Oh, sure. Oh,
So
absolutely. That's exciting, though. So, one, I understand that. I'm the chief cook and bottle washer here too on my show.
ah,
So,
there you go.
so I totally get that. You have to edit, you have to do all of those things, sound, and you have to get it all right, record it, and decide what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And then you have probably people that are producing your show. Or are you the lone producer, or is there someone else producing it for you?
I started out as the lone producer, but now a good buddy of mine, Chris Potter, helps me with the show, which is invaluable to have somebody, even just like at first he was just doing graphic bumpers for
Sure.
me, and then it turned into camera switching as well as the bumpers, and then he just kept taking on more and more, which has been really helpful because as I'm sure when you're doing it all by yourself, it can run you ragged if you let it. And it's the same sort of thing with trying to play in a band as well as manage a band at the same time. It's a ton of work, which is that's what I'm doing for Supernauts, the Black Sabbath tribute that's opening for Destroyer at the Rock Pile January 24th. I I I manage that band, and it's now I'm very lucky that the cats that I play with are not only top shelf musicians, but they're just really easy people to communicate with, and there's no overinflated egos, there's no drama,
Oh, different.
it's really smooth sailing. And as far as managing a band in terms of the personalities, that really takes care of itself. Like the lead singer, the dude that plays our Ozzy, he's my older brother.
Okay.
Yeah, so we know how to operate with one another because I've known him for 40 years. Yeah, and then the lead guitar player, Ben Foss, who is our Tony Iommi, he and I have played in bands on and off together for, shoot, it's got to be getting close to 10 to 12 years by now. And then the drummer, Liam Archer, who does the Bill Ward, he and I have played in bands on and off together for also probably somewhere between 12 to 15 years. So I've known these dudes, obviously my brother my entire life, but I've known the other two dudes for a very long time. And there's a real trust, not only musically, which you need to have, but also on a personal level. Like I know that if we book a show or even just a rehearsal, I know that unless there is something wrong, that they're going to be there and they're going to have their homework done, and I don't have to. I don't have to hold anybody's hand. And if
Sure.
something's not right, we can tell each other, and nobody's going to get bent out of shape over it, which is
Right.
also super important. Like, we need to be able to be honest with one another as much as we're honest with ourselves. If something's not musically working, then there's no time to get upset. Like, we gotta
Yeah.
hammer the stuff out. And also, if something's, and this is the other thing too that I really love about working with most of the people that I get to work with nowadays, is it's not a personal thing. If you're playing something wrong, everybody is there to be in service of the music. Nobody's ego is going to supersede the most important thing, which is putting on the best show possible for a paying audience, which is something that we don't take lightly. If someone pays a ticket price, they've probably also paid for gas, as well as parking, as well as probably went out to dinner, and maybe if they've got kids would have had to get a babysitter. And there are a lot of extra expenses that come with, it's not just the price of the ticket. So there's a real obligation to give them what they've paid for. And luckily, all the people that I am playing with these days understand and respect that as much as I do, which is a bit of a relief.
Yeah, I bet. Now I see on your shirt you got jazz there. Now what
Oh,
tell us what you've got there.
so I didn't even realize I was wearing it really. This is from the Rimouski Jazz Festival in Quebec, so in Rimouski, Quebec, which was a show that I played with Emily Burgess pre-COVID. If your listeners don't know who Emily Burgess is, I highly urge you to go check her out. She's a phenomenal singer, songwriter, and guitar player. She was in a band called the 24th Street Wailers that was nominated. They were nominated for a Juno, and she, as a solo artist, won the Maple Blues Award in 2018, I believe.
Nice.
And she is also a mainstay member of another phenomenal act called the Weber Brothers, which is Sam and Ryan Weber, who are just absolute beasts. And Emily has one of my favorite drummers ever. His name is Marcus Brown, and he is also a radically lovely human being. If you don't know Emily's stuff, you should definitely go check it out. And I got this shirt for her playing the jazz festival with them many years ago.
Very nice. We'll have to talk to her about coming on the show.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, we'll have your friends up here. It's really great to hear the camaraderie that goes on, Dawson, and the
Sure.
support that each of you have for each other. And I absolutely 100% support all of you as best I can to help promote your show and your works. I know that you're doing a great job. So kudos to you. Did you say you're 40?
Yeah.
You look like you're in your 20s. You're so young looking.
Oh, well, thank you. I think it's a byproduct of growing up as a nerd.
There you
You,
go.
you don't get invited to a lot of parties, so you
So you
don't
get a
do a
good
lot
night's
of.
sleep, do you?
Oh, and also, like, when you're young, if you're like in the in crowd, or at least when I was in high school, if you were in the in crowd, it was pretty synonymous with drinking and
Sure.
smoking, not just cigarettes, probably doing other drugs.
Stuff.
There were some real party animals that I went to high school with that at the time, I'm sure were really living it up, but now they look like a weathered purse. So it's,
Can
um,
happen, right?
yeah, yeah. So if you live clean and
It's
you know
true.
get as good a night's sleep as you can, being a working musician, which I have to stay up pretty late. It's a huge part of
Yeah.
my employment. But I try to eat clean and I exercise pretty regularly. I've been in martial arts since I was 4 years old.
Oh, that's interesting. That's good.
So that has a lot to do, I think, with a couple of things. One, sometimes I stutter because I've been hit in the head too many times. So I think that's a big contributor. But then also just staying in shape and trying to eat healthy and making sure that your vehicle is in
Yeah.
working order, because I think a downside to, unfortunately, a lot of intellectuals that maybe don't look at it as holistically as they should. They focus solely on their mind and they completely ignore the fact that the rest of your body is the vehicle that takes your brain from place to place. And if you want everything to be firing on all cylinders for as long as possible, you probably keep all of your machinery going. And so that's something that I take pretty seriously. Also, having had as many concussions as I have, trying to have a protocol to reduce inflammation as much as possible, eating non-ultra processed foods whenever possible, trying to take
Sure.
supplementing for anti-inflammatories, as well as eating foods that are natural anti-inflammatories. All that kind of stuff is going to hopefully keep things for. I want to keep this going until the brakes fall off. So I want to make sure the brakes are on for as long as possible.
Good
But yeah,
job. Good.
so
You certainly look really young. So well done, Dawson.
well,
So,
thank you. If I
and
grow the beard out, you see a lot more gray. So I gotta keep. The rest seems to be okay so far,
you're
but
doing all right. You're doing all
all in here is quite gray if I grow it out. So I have to keep
right.
it short.
Good job. No, I think that's great. So kudos to you. And you've given the young people a little bit of a hint as to what to do and take care of themselves as they're into the music business. But would you have any tips for someone starting out, Dawson?
Oh, I've got a few. Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
Would you mind?
One, yeah, sure. I'll just rattle them off if you
Sure.
don't mind.
Love it. Thank you.
Find as many like-minded people as you possibly can. You are probably going to have to get burned before you learn how to smell smoke. But once you know what it smells like, know that means there's fire. Practice, get and use a metronome. Learn music theory. It's not going to hinder your creativity. It's such a ridiculous myth that is espoused by people that can't be bothered to learn the theory. It shouldn't be how you write. I think you should go emotion first, but then use theoretical understanding as a polishing tool.
Okay.
Definitely learn how to play to a click track, especially if you want to be a session player. If you can't play to a click, you're fired if you're going to be a session player. And it's only going to make you better because so many bands nowadays have a click in their in-ear monitors anyway. If you want to be in a more jam band kind of thing, all it's going to do is increase your sense of internal time, which is never going to be a bad thing. Learn how to play more than one instrument, at least a little, so that you can have a better understanding of what the rest of your bandmates are doing, because then that will allow you to know how to sit in the mix better.
Oh, very good.
Enjoying the fruits of your labor is not a bad thing, but it's really easy to focus more on the party than it is on the quest of gaining excellence in your field. And I have seen really phenomenal players burn themselves out because they're more concerned with how to get something up their nose than they are with how to get things in their ears and in their hands. If you like, look, you don't have to be a narc, you don't have to be like a wimp about it. But if somebody offers you something, probably better to say no,
Great
which I know
advice.
sounds like such a square thing to say. And look, I have definitely experimented with stuff. Like I've definitely smoked weed. I've definitely drank alcohol. I've taken other psychedelics, but I don't think it's so many people think it's a necessity to be a creative. Like they're most like novelists or they think about Hemingway and how he was, if you don't mind a little bit of language, Hemingway was a piss tank. And so all these writers think that they need to get bombed to be a good writer. It's not true. It's not true.
No, I
You
think it's
can,
excellent advice that you gave, Dawson. Not, and again, as you said, you don't have to be a saint, but certainly take care of yourself because if you keep your faculties and you know what direction you're going in and you're committed and you have conviction on to where you're going, you're not going to let
yep,
any of that get in your way. And guess what? You're the one with the clear head as you're going forward. When someone else, unfortunately, may lose control and lose lots of time and perhaps their own talent from it, right?
yeah. And you know what, too, especially with the way that street drugs are nowadays, the amount of fentanyl that's out there, you can lose your life. Like
Yeah,
I know,
100%.
I've known people that are no longer with us because they took something that wasn't what they thought it was. And phenomenal player, but just
I'm very grateful that you brought that message forward, Dawson. You're the one that they would be looking up to, and you're successful telling the young people, hey, really think twice before you go and do something like that. That's wonderful. Honestly, thank you for that advice. So let's come back to you now, Dawson. I
sure.
want to go back over what is your favorite song you've made?
The favorite song that I've ever made?
Yeah. or
Uh, I'm
played?
I'm pretty stoked. I'm pretty stoked on the new stuff that I'm working on, to be honest. The group that I'm doing the Black Sabbath tribute, Supernauts, we are currently working on original material as well. It's going to be a separate entity
Okay,
because we're not going to try to shoehorn our own material into a Black Sabbath show. That's weird. So we're going to have
sure.
our own vein of original material. But I'm really stoked about this because it's I grew up as a real metalhead when I was young, and not just metal, but hard rock.
Sure.
And then I got obsessed with the blues, which then led me to jazz, which then led me to funk, which somehow brought me to country music, rockabilly rather, pardon me. And then I really like pop music, and I've been on a couple of years ago, went on a real classical kick, and doing the Black Sabbath tribute has almost brought me back to where I started with the really
Sure.
dark edged heavy music that I've been such a fan of since I was really young. Some of my earliest memories of thinking about I want to do this were bands like Black Sabbath or at the time it was even before it was Rob Zombie. It was still White Zombie and
Yeah, that's right.
Nine Inch Nails and Marilyn Manson and Soundgarden and like pretty dark heavy stuff. Rage Against the Machine was one of my that was the first Rage album, the self-titled, where the monk that set himself on fire in
Oh
Tiananmen Square.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Their album cover, which is pretty brutal
I
imagery.
know.
That was the first album I ever learned front to back on
Oh,
not just bass, but bass and guitar, and I learned every lyric, which has probably is probably a pretty good explanation for a lot of my political views and distrust of the government at large.
we won't go
Regardless of,
political here, though, Dawson.
no, that's fine. But sorry,
No, that's okay. You're allowed.
I won't get too into it, but it's general distrust of both sides of the aisle. I'm not swinging either way specifically. I think it's all a sham. Anyway, but so to come to a band where hard edged, darker, heavier, and very like proggy kind of material is the real focal point is really exciting for me because it's not something that I get to do often. And like all the really bizarre stuff that I learned how to do in school and also like the hard, weird, dark stuff that I was doing on my own time in almost every band where I was one of the support players, people are like, don't do that. I've got this skill set that is just sitting on the shelf collecting dust for years and years. And now there's a lineup where I get to do the stuff that kind of got me started, and the fact that I get to do it with my older brother, who he and I started together when like our dad bought us our first guitars with student loan money. So
Wow.
we couldn't afford lessons. So we used our parents' record collection and we sat there and played wrong note after wrong note until we found what we thought were the right ones.
Oh,
And
that's incredible.
yeah, and we taught each other how to play in the beginning. Admittedly, Devin taught me more than I was teaching him because he had better ears considerably just
Yeah.
from a natural standpoint. His ears were better than mine at the time.
Okay.
And then he still has great ears, by the way. I'm not trying to say that
No,
he
I
doesn't.
understand that.
Mine have gotten significantly better than they used to be. My ears, my I was not very good at lifting for a long time. Done a lot of ear training since. That would be sorry. Just to tack on ear training for advice for young musicians. Ear training, ear training, ear training. Learn how to lift. Learn what intervals sound like. Learn what triads sound like. Learn extensions. Learn sus chords. Learn what all. Don't just learn it on the page or in your hands. Learn it in your ears because that's gonna help a lot. Anyway, so my back to my older brother Devin and me. We were in bands together and have been on and off since I was 13, 14. So to come basically full circle to the genre that got us started with the guy I started with is it's freaky and it's really exciting and it seems odd but right. And there to do what we're currently working on I don't get the same kind of jolt really from anything else.
Okay, so you found your calling, really.
Yeah, I think overall music is my calling, but then you can have pockets of. So here's the thing. I don't think that the original music is going to be a huge moneymaker anytime soon.
Okay.
So you have to have money gigs. If your profession, if your livelihood is based on you being a
Yeah.
musician, you have to have money gigs,
Yeah.
right? To have this outlet that really allows me to be more creative than any other project I'm in, because I'm not just a support player. I am in this band. And there's a big difference. And that's something else for young musicians to know too. Are you in the band or are you a support player? Because the two things are not the same.
Oh, okay.
So you got to figure that, and better to find out in a controlled way than in a
Yeah.
brutal awakening.
Yeah, so that you're,
Uh,
yeah, no, I get that because the band is going to evolution, definitely evolve with or without you. So you either are part of the band or you're, as you said, a support until something else fits in there, right?
yeah, shoot, I'm a support player for the Bowie Lives,
Yeah.
and I have been for almost 7 years now.
So that's your talent.
You can be a support player that is constantly being
Sure.
called, but it's not my band. Like the two guys that run that band are Michael Bell and Michael Beauclair.
Yeah, right.
And so within that group, I have to know my place. I don't make any decisions for that band. I play the parts I'm told to play. I wear the clothes I am told to wear, and and I go to the places I'm told to go, which is great. And then I get to play music with my friends and make money.
And
You
learn
know,
from them too, right?
sure, yeah, like
Yeah. And then you can bring it back to Supernaut because you have all of that gelling together for you. So that's fantastic.
yeah, and like I got my first residency when I was 14 years old. For anyone that doesn't know, residency means it's a place that you play on the regular. And I was playing a roadhouse called Telf's Place in Ennismore, Ontario.
And
By
you
the
were
time I
being
was,
paid for that. Wow.
yeah, not much, but a little. Yeah,
Hey, at
I was getting
14,
like,
it's good, right?
yeah, it was like I think I got $50 a week for playing two to
Wow.
three. Yeah, so for 2 to 3 nights a week, I got $50 a weekend, which is not bad for a 14-year-old kid.
Not bad.
And and I've gone a lot of places and I've seen a lot of stuff and I've met a lot of people. And it doesn't matter where you go or what you do, you can learn something from anybody, even if it's just what not to do.
Oh, that's a good point too.
Right. So always keep your ears and your eyes open. And more often than not, better to keep your mouth shut too.
Okay,
Like
Dawson,
at first anyway.
you've
Like
been great. Yeah, no, you've been great today. You've given some great advice and you've told us the journey that you've had and you've had an exciting one. I really want to come back to Supernaut now because
yeah,
as we've had a great time with you today and I want to close off with everyone making sure that they see this show coming up with your and I know you're on with Destroyer as the headliner, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
absolutely.
Ian K is going to be opening. And then
Yeah,
you're also a support band in there. You're going to be doing a song or a few songs in there.
yeah, we're doing a full set.
Full set. Okay.
Yeah, Ian K is opening the show with his
Sure.
original material, and then Supernauts. I think each set is somewhere between 45 to an hour,
Sure.
except Destroyer is longer. But the opener, so the opening act, I think is like 45 to 60. Supernauts is also somewhere between 45 to 60. And then Destroyer is going to close out the night. And
Beautiful.
it's going to be rad. For anyone that is a Sabbath fan, Supernauts does Ozzy-era Black Sabbath for a couple of reasons. One, in my totally snobby opinion, once Oz left the band
Yeah.
and they started bringing in other players, I still love that music, but it becomes a different band. And which even when because Ronnie James Dio was the first guy to replace Ozzy, and the album that they did was called Heaven and Hell. And then when not Ozzy, sorry, when Dio kind of reunited with Sabbath, they didn't even call Black Sabbath. They just called themselves Heaven and Hell
Yeah.
because it was a different band. It sounded so completely different. So that's one of the reasons that we only do Ozzy-era. The other reason is my older brother freakishly sounds like Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, good to
So
know.
yeah, so it's wild how much he sounds like Oz.
That's
It,
awesome.
it seemed like the natural way to go, which makes me very happy because my preference of Black Sabbath is the Ozzy era stuff. So it just really works out quite nicely for us.
Perfect. So now let's come back. So your show again, the date is
January 24th,
at
the Rock Pile in Toronto.
perfect. And you are part of Supernaut, and
I
we
am.
see you there. Now, I have one more question for you, Dawson.
Shoot.
Will you come back and do another episode with us in the new year?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just shoot me some potential dates and we'll figure something out.
Yeah, we had a great time with you, and I'd love to hear about what your tour, how your show went, and where you're
Sure.
going. And maybe we can promote some more of your music if that's all right.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Dawson, thank you. Honestly, you've been great.
Oh, thank you, Teresa. I really appreciate you having me on. I appreciate your time, and I also appreciate you boosting musicians. It's a really fun life, but it's not necessarily an easy one. Any help we can get is appreciated.
Oh, my pleasure. Honestly, I listen, I can tell you right now, and I've told some of the people, including Michael Bell, who I couldn't sing if my life depended on it, and I cannot play an instrument, but I appreciate one good music and how hard you all are doing. I know the work that's involved. So on my end, if I can help you in some small way, I'm happy to do that, Dawson. It's
Oh,
truly my pleasure.
thank you very much. I
Thank you,
appreciate that.
everyone. This is Dawson McManus from Supernaut. You want to take a look at that show? I'm going to make sure everything's in the show notes. Your podcast, we got something on YouTube
Oh,
there?
yep, absolutely. It's 646 with Dawson McManus. It airs weekly on Pet Rock Radio, and you can find the podcast on Spotify. You can find it on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's I interview other musicians. I interview fighters and actors and painters and I don't know, just anybody that I think is interesting.
Fantastic. Honestly, we all support each other. So I'll make sure I subscribe. So everyone go over to Dawson's pages. I'll make sure they're all here again and do subscribe to his channel. It certainly helps with his content and his guests, and you're going to see some more over there. And I am Teresa Aker. I appreciate you today, Dawson. You are watching Success Diaries. Do subscribe to my channel too. I truly appreciate that. I hope you're all having a great day, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye now.